Okay, greetings. Join us. Okay, for today, I'm not sure how far I'm going to go into. King Arthur is going to tap into King Arthur, Merlin, in that reality, at least a little bit. We're going to go into Matrix consciousness being, basically, channeling a spirit being that's connected to the Matrix, basically, or our reality, whatever we're going to call it. Again, their point of view. I tapped into it a little bit right before they showed up, and I don't know how that's going to go. So we'll see. We're going. Oh yeah, and Sagrada Familia or something like that. The Archon Castle. This is in France, in Spain. Jeez. I mean, it's got Archon written all over it. It feels evil. I know they call it religious. We'll give you a little bit of a look into that. I guess loveliness. Before we go into that, I want to see all nice and backed up. At this point, as I haven't taught economy or private sessions, we have a shop here. I'm on the 17th, and I'm backed up. So normally I'll be at least around the 24th, or well, maybe I'm not that behind, but either way, same situation here. Webinar sign up, social network they don't get kicked off of, Rabbit, and behind the scenes. Okay. All right, we'll go back here into the castle from hell. So just give me a second too. So in all this glory here, so this is the Bastille. I can't pronounce that. Anyway, this is like the Archon Castle. Inside, I mean, it's just like mind control all around. Like some of the towers have like a Jesus tower and a Mother Mary tower, and it's just creepy as hell. I think there's a picture of it, how big it is in the city in Spain, Barcelona. Oh God. So my energy on that, yeah, they're trying to. I mean, doesn't that look lovely? That looks just. At least this shows you what Lower Astral looks like. It gives you an idea of, and they had a fight to even bring this in, and it's been working on it for over 100 years. And so it's trying to mind control the city, basically, is what it's about. Submission, tell everybody it's beautiful, and actually it's ugly. This thing is ugly. At least it's showing its true colors. I mean, at least it's showing. I mean, they all kind of show it, but this one really shows its, demonic energies. So I guess, depending on how you want to look at things, it's well, at least it's not hiding anything. And look at the statues that are next. There's like little statues connected to it. I don't think I want to see it, but okay, I think we've seen enough. I'm looking for, let's see. The statues on the building say a lot. Jeez, I mean, it looks look at that Archon all the way. So you wonder what an Archon being is, or what they look like when they're messing around. Yeah. I mean, even modern art, some of the modern art is very archonic because it's ugly. I mean, there's beautiful. I mean, there's positive Archon beings, but this is more of a, trying to keep the story, trying to sell the story. Here we go. And that, so this is like a church, right? So we have wizard beings on it has a nice snail there, but of course that's a frog. That's not too bad. But the lizard, yeah, I think the frog's all right. He's pretty happy there. Snails, I'm not sure if he's having a good time there. So this tells you a lot about, I don't know. It doesn't exactly feel all loving, and I'm not sure if that's on there or not, but That this tells all. It's like, jeez. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's different. Look at that. And it's modern. You can say religion trying to modernize itself, which also showing its true colors. Not sure what's going on there, but whatever works for you. So yeah, it's kind of a creepy, demonic. Of course, it's on how you want to look at things. See enough of that. So it makes you want to go to church, or maybe have your church look like that. Jeez. So enough of that energy. So I was looking for. I felt like connected to monuments to look at. I've seen that one before. I don't think I've ever talked about it, but gee, I wonder why. So after looking at all that loveliness, so you can taps into, was it yesterday, the reptilian energies. King Arthur, I'm not sure where that's going to go. Might just tap into just bring in what needs to be said from that era. You can say we are going into a time, not sure when we see more of that type of mythical reality. We're slowly tapping into that realm. I would say more of it's going to start increasing as we go forward. So we'll just see how things go here. So, all right, we'll go to King Arthur, Merlin energies. I'm not going to that castle. I can't do it. I'm not doing that. I'm staying away from that. I've seen enough of it. But the matrix reality, maybe going to reptilian vibrations. Again, we just give a different point of view of it. And that is all we got. That's all I can say. So, all right, blessings. Greetings. I am King Arthur. There is a feline presence here. As many of you know, there is you can say a fight between feline and canine, at least perspectives of what to bring into your reality. There are, yes, reptilian beings. There's, of course, Archon beings to the church, where Archon beings of the past are seen as more shadow people. Yes, they do hide behind the church that's been created, or religion is basically hiding or astral figures, beings that come into your reality. It's a doorway, as you know. They just call it religion. There's different, of course, we're not going to go through all religions, but the Catholic religion, the Christ religion is basically, there is magic in those times, but obviously they're bringing different types. There's a fight among positive and light with the doorways that they're opening. And even if you're not by these places, you are affected by it for those that have been, as it, yes, to take over the soul, as you know. So you're coming into a time of when mythology is going to be taken more seriously in your reality, where mythical beings are more seen. As many of you are allowing that vibration to come more into your reality. The reason why many shut off their third eye, because people are not ready. But many of you are tuning your vibrations to where you have friends and family talking to you about the mythical beings that you're seeing. Now, people are already experiencing this already. Basically, Agartha is coming more into your reality slowly. And yes, they bring alien beings. I believe your Agarthians have a lot to say, especially your dragons. Basically, a lot of the dragons had to step back when humanity lost itself. Yes, dragons you can say, are very part of magician energies on your earth. They give the power to the magicians to do their bidding, to assist with human transformation. Magicians, there's always, yes, different types of magicians, but many are known to use their power for their own selves, but many are there to enhance. But there's always some type of misuse, where some are attempting to grab onto. Well, magicians are part of the earth. They are part of the trees. They're part of the breath of the earth. They are earth beings. They are elemental beings in your physical form to help you find your direction. But they have their own tests. Here's a lot of power. What do you do with it? Do you mind control others, or do you bring in a flower or bring in enlightenment? Because you see what positive and not so positive. You can bring in a tornado, or you can bring in the sun. That is what many of your elitists have learned how to tune themselves into this power. Meaning, a lot of elitists are similar to like a King Arthur in their own form of talking to magicians to do their bidding. It's like they hire engineers to do their work, psychics, etc., to do their bidding. Those are in powerful positions because they can't always see clearly. My vibration, yes, is my wife is similar to the myth. What is needed for your time frame? There's many King Arthurs on different worlds. There's actually a female King Arthur also in different realities where the roles are switched. But basically, my time was to my life, like many of you, was about the kingdom. It's like I was, yes, married to Guinevere, but really I was married to being a king to the people. So my life is similar to many of you on your spiritual path, where yes, you're alone. And yes, it's when you're in a position like that, it's it keeps your focus on the people. Of course, you're still human. You want to live a normal human life. As many of you know in your spiritual development, that a lot of times just fulfilling your direction, your focus is more important than your own human needs. Many of you know this. Is it's not for everyone. Not everyone has those positions. Some do have relationships and can have a life outside of their direction. But for me, my life was king, and I did not always see that in my path. So, but that's a hard lesson for many of us, and a lesson is continuing on. Your current kingdom is not, at least in your Windsor Castle or London, or England, whatever word you want to call it, is not the kingdom of your foresee. But yeah, that's when you're more of your dark magicians are in power. They're showing it, but darkness has holes in it. It is weak. It falls apart. It's not as strong as it tries to be. It is. It knows it has to bring enlightenment. It has to have some kind of positivity for it to exist. It can't just be all darkness because it will destroy itself. This is why, at least in your Americas, where you have different presidents come in and go, darkness must come in, but as long as someone that can reign in, then you have to bring in light, and then it's back and forth. With the monarchy in England, you can say that's almost like it's holographic. Like it's not even real anymore. I mean, it's real, but is it really that real? I'll leave you with that. Blessings to you on your journeys as you go further into your enlightenment, your own sense of self. Greetings to you. I am Ajax with spirit, connected to your matrix, or to give you an idea of what it is. Now, you can look at your reality as there is a serious side, a comedy side, a stale side. I know that sounds weird. An organic side. You put them all together. You can actually there are places in your world where there is like a laughing forest. You go there and you actually it's like laughing gas. I don't believe it's fully known in your reality. I mean, you don't have like a laughing forest like you go to just, but there are places that are to bring enlightenment to your planet. There's actually trees that just all they do is make fun of each other and commute with each other. They're just good spirits overall. Some of that is in England. Of course, you have your more of your darker ones that have really lost their way. Yeah, your forests tell a lot about your consciousness. Well, they're warning with your humans too. Some nature wants to discover more of its dark side, as it has done in your reality. That's why you're not seeing everything as you'd like to see it. Your trees can turn against, not necessarily against humanity, but in some regard, nature wants to see how dark it can get itself, not just for humans. So even your oceans, I mean, yes, that's why many of you incarnate here to bring your light. Maybe you incarnate here to plant trees yourself, whatever it might be. It's just a different type of energy here, as you can see. A world within a world. Yes, there's many worlds here. There's scientific worlds, there's artificial intelligence worlds that are connected to your planet. And when your Earth lost itself, it did connect more to our artificial intelligence during Atlantean time. Well, crystal energies have a kind of artificial intelligence connected to them. Well, they're very robotic. Some of them are. Some of them are very fluid in their speaking, and some are robotic types, where they see themselves as not artificial intelligence, but they act like it. So your reality is, let's see here, what's the best way to say it, is you're coming from different angles from the universe here. There's just so many different voices at once. There is many agendas going on. That does come from your spirit realms. Many are here to bring enlightenment, but they're not always heard. Basically, they're beings that cause a lot of disruption here. Sounds you do not hear. You feel the agenda. Yes, the agenda, the highway, the way lines, programming your reality. You're not hearing it, but you feel it. But there is a sound there of controlling your world. Well, they're manifesting your future as you are who you are. I mean, in your normal day, you feel it. Someone's manifesting, not necessarily directly towards you, but timelines being created. So you feel over time you're going to see these timelines as they're being built. Now, you might not be always aware of it, but timeline creation, yes, it's done in linear time. It's done actually 100 years ago. I mean, 100 years ago, you're building timelines now. Because there's really no time when you really think about it. Of course, in this reality, it's difficult to see it that way. But many of you are feeling, because even before you incarnated here, you saw the timelines that were possible here. And it goes on. And now you're in the physical realm. You can feel them being constructed. So why some people are feeling the way you are feeling is you feel the timelines being assembled that you might not exactly want to be a part of, but it's part of the human development consciousness. It's like, yes, having a structure being built in your physical, but you're not seeing it being built in your physicals. You're non-physical. Even some timelines can be structures. They can be churches, but it's done in astral. A timeline can take any form. You feel like a timeline is like a highway, but it also can be a structure. It can be a building. So to give you more under, yes, it's you can. It's like, what does my future hold? What is the structure of your life? What building comes to mind? Is it a tall building that eventually gets torn down? That's not always a bad thing because that means you're rebuilding. But you're like, what does your timeline look like for yourself? And I don't believe many actually look at it that way, from what I believe. What structure does it look like? Does it look like a little house? Do you see like a little pig? Do you see a horse there? I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is, really. Um, yeah, so does it a horse's ass for some? Those are, yeah, that's, yeah. Sometimes that's humorous and sometimes that's telling you something, but usually just for humor reasons. But yeah, you look at, like, you can close your eyes and say, what does my timeline look like? If it was a thing, what would it be? Or a being? Or does it look like a superhero? What does it look like? For your main timeline, you can do the same thing. Like, where is it going? Political energies, basically, you might see an Archon being. Yes, you might see it looking at you. That tells you you're getting somewhere. So, giving you ideas of how to see a timeline energy. Uh, so, this can be, people are looking for spiritual development. Well, here's some right now. Now, it might not be the clearest for some of you. Yeah, you just close your eyes and say, what does my timeline look like? Whatever comes to mind. It might look like an apple. And then figuring out what that means is up to you. You have to go about your feeling of that. So, yeah, Spirit does speak in codes. It can't give you the full details. Even if they do show you a structure of your main timeline, it doesn't always mean you know where things are going. That can be a riddle all on its own because, yes, the future is usually unknown. And sometimes you see the future, and as for your political situation, you may see the future and it's like, oh, man, can we just put something else there instead? How about, an earthquake instead or something? An alien invasion would be better than our political candidate that we decided on, or the world decided on, or someone decided on, for that matter. So, with everything to plan, yes and no. I mean, yes in spirit, but spirit allows humans to do whatever they want. Spirit's not, that's the trouble about spirit beings. But we're not always beings that are, we're not always used to your world, as many of you know. So when you're talking to us, it's like talking to a stranger. I mean, we might be guiding you, some spirit beings, as some of you know, but it doesn't mean we know anything about you. I mean, we know about you, but we don't know you. Like a friend would know you, a family member, a lover. That's why maybe sometimes when you put someone too close to you, sometimes they can control you because they're in a relationship with you, even as a spirit being. It does happen. And it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it works out very well. Sometimes it doesn't. You wonder why your life going to the direction it did because you're not always aware of the guys. It gets complicated there. So sometimes having a spirit guide that knows pretty much nothing about you, they know you, but it's like you knowing your job that you don't feel a passion for. I mean, of course, your guides have a passion for you, but they're not always there to, because sometimes you need guides that are let you go through your problems. If you have a guide that doesn't want you to go through problems, you have a problem. Because you signed up, I need all these things to happen to me. Yes, it's not going to be easy, and you have a guide to help you avoid those things. Does not help. So I need a guide. I wouldn't call it unsympathetic, but one that's connected to you, but not too connected to you. That's why you have family members, but they're usually outside. Like family member guides are there just to heal you as you go through tough times. And yes, maybe might yell at your guides, fire your guides, things like that, which is recommended because some guides just let you go drive off a cliff and don't even care. Some can really be like, "Oh, you said it's okay to do that." It's like, no, but come on, can you put a little bit more effort into it, like caring? Oh yeah, sympathy. I got to work on that. And of course, in the spirit world, I guess they can go back in time, yes, but when it's done here in real time, it's really difficult to. Guides can make up for mistakes. So, yes, the spirit realms is a complicated place. Yes, even spirit beings can get tired of being in spirit. When you get into a world like this, when spirit beings are sometimes clueless to what's happening here, it gets very aggravating. On worlds that are not so this world's very creative. It might not always seem creative in your reality, but it is very dense and hard to get our message. Other worlds are easier, less density. Beings can hear their guides, have a conversation with them. I mean, you have your family members as like a Palladium being, have family members in front of you, you're tapping into your guides. Some of you tap more into your guides, talk to your guides, but talk to people in your living room. That gives you an idea of how open those realities are. In your world, I'll be able to see it. Yes, there are people here that do tap in more of their guides and just shut the rest of the world out. So that's one other story there. But that's once again for timeline energies. I realize we're supposed to bring in more about why your reality is the way it is. Well, it has to do with just what is necessary here. You're always bringing. Yeah, some people need sports, so you got all your sports. That's another healing vibration. Music is a healing vibration. There's so many different healing energies here, but your lower astral, yes, comes through the churches, of course. They are the churches, basically. And they're making everything, they're making you go to work. Yes, the lower astral beings, even some reptilians, some, but the lower astral is basically creating the infrastructure that you're living in right now, going to work, doing these things day by day. That's a lower astral timeline. It is slowly being, and a lot of reptilians allowed it. Well, a lot of beings, alien beings, I'm not sure if many of you know this, but many of them shut down their higher self energies and go into the lower realms and work there. They're still aliens, but they just work in the lower realms because they don't want to care about anybody but themselves. What do you call it? That's why they call it service to self. Doesn't mean that they have demonic attachment. Some of them might, but most of them, because they can be they have to go somewhere where they're unsympathetic. So where they don't feel bad about humanity, like human trafficking, they don't feel bad about it. Doesn't it make sense? It's like, why are these alien beings or humans, for that matter, why don't they care about this type of things? Because they're in a realm where it doesn't matter. They're in a realm where the sympathy is not there. So that's what you're here to bring in to close out those realities and clear the timelines. We don't have to do the same repetitive things every single day. If you're doing repetitive things, you want to do it instead of being forced to do it. So this is why spirit worlds, even yes, they're being tested heavily. Because doing this type of repetitive energy even gets to them after a while. Same as you. That's why sometimes you rest. You're tired, but a lot of times your spirit team is tired also. Because they're pointing that way, saying that they're behind you, but they're kind of around you, but either way. Blessings. All right, blessings.